Okay, in 16, we're given 3 points, and we want to find the equation of the circle that passes through those 3 points. Okay, we're going to do this without graphing, because sometimes graphing can be wrong, of course. So we're going to use algebra, and if you add and subtract correctly, it's never wrong. So our standard matrix that we're going to use to do this looks like this. We have one column that we calculate. We have one column that are x points. We have one column that are y points. We have the fourth column that are just ones. So our 3 points go into your x and your y. So our first point is -3, 2. And we calculate this left column. -3 squared plus 2 squared. 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay, we do the same thing with our next point, 0, -7. 0 squared is 0, plus -7 squared is 49. And we do the same thing with our last point, 1, 0. So the x column is 1, the y column is 0, and 1 squared plus 0 squared is 1. Okay. Now we find the determinant of this matrix, set it equal to 0, and that's going to give us our equation in general form. So the first thing we do is we find the determinant using the cofactor method. Okay, so we take the first column, first row, and we eliminate this one's column and this one's row, and we find the determinant of what's left. So -3, 2, and 1, 0 and -7 and 1, 1 and 0 and 1. Minus, now we find this one's, so we take away the second column, and we find the determinant of what's left over, which is 13, 2, and 1, and 49, and -7 and 1, and 1, and 0 and 1. Then we do plus the y header. So we take away the y's column, and we find the determinant of the stuff without the y column. And all of this we're going to do in our calculator, because calculators are very useful tools. Minus 1 times the determinant of what happens when we take away the fourth column. Okay, so bear with me while I calculate this. I'll be right back. So when you put all this into your calculator, we get an x squared plus y squared times 30. That in front. And then minus x times -180, so that will be a plus x, plus y times 180, minus 1 times 210. Now, hopefully we're noticing that everybody has a multiplier of 30. So I'm going to divide everything by 30 so that I can eliminate my x squared and y squared coefficients. So I get the general equation, x squared plus y squared plus 6x plus 6y minus 7 equals 0. So this is my general form, and I want it in standard form. So standard form is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay, where h and k represent the center of my circle, and this number is the radius distance squared. So I do that by completing the square. So I'm going to do that with both the x terms, so I get my x stuff together. So x squared plus 6x plus a box. And I get my y stuff together. Y squared plus 6y plus a box. Okay, the square, if you will, equals 7 plus 2 boxes. So I add my 7 to the right side. And then I add the boxes, because whatever I add to the left, I have to add to the right in order to stay mathematically balanced. So the universe will stay okay. So what number goes in the square? What we do is we take half of the middle term and we square it. So half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. We do the same thing for the y value. Half of this squared is 9. And we add it to both sides. Now, these three terms become a perfect square trinomial, which factor to x plus 3 quantities squared. And these three terms are now a perfect square trinomial. They factor to y plus 3 squared. And if I add 7 and 9, I get 25. Oh, so what's the radius? The radius is the square root of 25, which is 5 units. There's your standard equation. There's your radius. We have successfully done what we've been asked to do. So we're done.